Okay, welcome back to the Come Follow Me 2020 study. And my name is Antonella Funk, and I'm so excited to be able to do it again today, talking about the chapter, another chapter that we are looking. And today we are studying First Nephi, chapter 1 through chapter 7. I am so grateful for the opportunity that I have to share some of the insight with you. But first of all, I want you guys to know that I really appreciate if you like this video and if you subscribed, so you can actually come and see every time I will post a video, and we will study together this great manual and the great Book of the Mormon. And I am so grateful, first of all, for my friend Heather, and for the wonderful gift that she gave me of this Book of Mormon journal edition. And I encourage each one of you that to actually go ahead as you study the Book of Mormon this year to write down some of the things that you learn on the margins or your books or whatever, or even get one of these. So I'm so grateful for Heather and her gift, and it's really been helpful to me, and I love it because I am be able to put down the things that my heart feel at that time that I'm studying. So some of the things that I realized as I was studying, there's so many wonderful things that you can learn and study from the Book of Mormon. But as I was reading and I was learning, I realized that probably the first things that I want to share with you, some of my insights, is to really have the desire to learn and to have questions. So ask questions as you read. There's so many wonderful things in this Book of Mormon. So why are those specific story in the Book of Mormon? And ask specific questions. And as you do that, then the Lord will show you why He put those things in there through the Spirit. And then also, of course, just ask what does that mean? Why does He uses this specific word instead of the other? And what does it mean to me? And then I also realized that, of course, there is patterns, that we need to look for patterns that repeats over and over. And as we're gonna do that, we will learn that those patterns, they actually can be applied to us, because we will learn that these stories and these things are not just the story of the Book of Mormon, but are also our story. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about with you today, is that, of course, First Nephi chapter first is actually one of the most read chapter in the whole Book of Mormon. And why is that? I realized that it is probably that in the beginning of the chapter too, because it actually is one of the most complete chapter, and one of the most chapter that it's benefit for us, because of course we know the story of Lehi, that he was asked to leave Jerusalem, and so if we think about that, what he had to do, we think about how he actually left everything. He was asked to leave everything, and there are so many good things. And like I said, you can use this and put all your notes and the things that you learn as you go ahead. But he was asked to leave Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is going to be destroyed. But the one thing that it's really interesting, it's not that he would just ask out of the blue. He actually was pondering and desire to know, understand, because there was a lot of prophet going around testifying that Jerusalem will be destroyed. And because of those other people and those prophets that were testifying, actually Lehi decided to pray, decided to go out, and I can't remember exactly where it's at now, but if you read really carefully, you can see that he actually came out of Jerusalem. He came out of Jerusalem, so he actually meant that he went somewhere else to pray. So as he did that, as he went out to pray, then he had a vision. He had a vision of the Savior and a special book, and then he started to understand all the things that was going to happen, and he actually saw the prophecy and saw what was going to happen to Jerusalem. And so after he did that, then he gained a testimony that yes, those things that the prophet are saying, they are true. So he came back to his family, and of course he was completely overcome with the spirit. So he was really tired, and then he was asked to preach the gospel and to actually be a testimony, be also a prophet, and go out and tell the people what he has seen and the things that the Lord is showing him. So he was persecuted because of that. He was persecuted, and because of that, the Lord asked him told him to leave within a dream, and to go out of the Jerusalem and to go to a promised land that he will show him and his family. And there is a whole bunch of things that he did, and so many different lesson that I learned as I read. And I just encourage you to really study and ponder and share the things that you learn as you read and as you go through this wonderful book. And you can do it here just in the comments. I really appreciate you if you can do that. But I want to share with you one more thing, that the story of Lehi, it's not just the story of Lehi and his people just leaving Jerusalem. But if you think about it, if you think about how those patterns, so I want you to also, so we need to look at the why, and why Heavenly Father is writing this book, and why there is certain things in this book, and why he puts it in there, and then look at the different patterns, and then apply those things into our lives. If you apply those things into your lives, then you can see that actually the story of Lehi and his family live in Jerusalem through the promised land. It's the story of Moses leading his people out of bondage and go to the promised land. It is also the story of the pioneer. They were called to leave their country and to leave everything, to leave their place of safety, and to go to a promised land over here in the United States. It is also the story of Adam and Eve. They left the presence of God, and they came to this earth, and so, and it is also our story. We also are called to leave everything behind, and to come into the wilderness, into this life. The wilderness is comparing to our lives and the things that we go through. And so Lehi and his family, as they journey through the wilderness, they can teach us the things that are important to us in this life. And so we can apply those things into our lives and learn from it. So there's so many things, like I said, that I learned. Some verses are really, really important, like small verses. And I just would love to know if you guys would like me to go more in details, in deep, to study maybe a little bit more in detail, and to share some of the things that I learned from each chapter or something. Or if this is good enough. I'm not sure how much you guys want to go into, and I really appreciate if you actually ask questions or share some of the things that you learn as well, because I am interested, and that's how we actually learn together, if we all share our insight, because some of the things that I see maybe are a little bit different than the way you see it. And there is a verse that it's really small, but I think it's really powerful, that it says, I don't know if I can find it now. I should have looked it up before, but I didn't think I wanted to do it this much. I thought I just gonna do it a little bit. And of course, I can't find it now. Okay, I got it. So it's 1 Nephi chapter 2, verse 15, and it says, "And my father dwelt in a tent." So that's a small verse, just really small verse, and I want you to tell me in the comment what do you think about this verse and why Mormon decided to put it in there, and in this case actually Nephi. Why Nephi actually wanted to put it in there, and it probably goes hand in hand with the beginning of the book. And this is probably the most memorized, the most known scriptures of the whole Book of Mormon. It says chapter 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 1, and it says, "I Nephi, having been born of goodly parents, therefore," okay, there is a therefore. So because he was born from goodly parents, so I want you to think about that. Goodly parents, what does that really mean? Does it just mean that they were good people? I'm sure it means that they were good people, but does it have a much deeper meaning? So it says, "Therefore I was taught somewhat in all the learning of my father, and having seen many afflictions in the course of my days, nevertheless, having been highly favored of the Lord in all my days, yea, having had a great knowledge of the goodness and the mysteries of God, therefore I make a record of my proceedings in my days." So I want you to think about why is "and my father dwelled in a tent" and this verse kind of important, and how goodly is important. And I want you to put down some of your thoughts. My thought was that at that time, actually not a lot of people were able to study. Just the people that were wealthy and that had riches, that they actually had money to be able to afford the things that of learning and stuff like that, and books, because at that time not everybody was be able to go to school and to be learned and to do certain things. So I'm thinking, that's my thinking. I want you to share some of your thoughts though as well. So if you have something, just put it on the little link below and in the comment, and I would love to read those and learn from you guys too. So goodly parents, yes, it means yes. To me, it means that yes, his parents, they were really good people, but they were also having the meaning for Nephi to actually go to school and to study all these books and knew how to read and to write, and he was well instructed with all those things. And because of that, so when it says "therefore I was taught somewhat in the learning of my father," so, and because of that wealth, because of the things that they had, they lived well. And then later on, if you remember, later on, when Nephi and his brother were asked to go back and get the plates, they actually Nephi just tells us all the riches. He emphasized how he left everything. And that's why I think it's important also. That's why he put that little phrase in chapter 2, verse 15, that again says, "And my father dwelt in a tent." I think, if you think about it, you could just say also that his father stayed in a tent, that his father, I don't know, slept in a tent or something, but dwelt also has a big meaning. So I want you to really think when you read, why does the author put certain words in there, and why is this particular verse for us to read today. And so, and my father dwelled in a tent, and that I think emphasized that they stayed there for a long time, and they didn't have nothing. They just brought with them just the necessity, like the seeds and things that they needed that time in their tents, but they left everything behind. They left everything behind. So one of the, like I said, I learned so many things about how Nephi was also always ready to bear his testimony to his brothers, to encourage them to be courageous and to move forward, and to be able to do the task that Heavenly Father asked them to do. And so, in closing, I encourage you to read the Book of Mormon, ask questions, ponder really what's going on, and look for patterns. Look for the patterns that you see in the stories that you read, that you already seen it before in other stories or in your own life, and then apply those things in your life. Because I think when you actually see those things, then it comes more personal, and then it gives you the strength to move forward. And the Lord has really given us the ability to overcome our challenges by looking at other people's challenges and see how they are similar to us. So anyway, like I said, I learned so many things, and it is too hard to share everything here one by one and this time. But I really would love to know if you want me to actually go ahead and do a part 2 of this, and maybe tomorrow or something, to go a little bit more in detail in each chapter and some of the things that I learned from each chapter or whatever. And also, if you can please like this page and subscribe so you can see me. And I'm planning to come every week and to share some of the insight that I get, and I really would love to hear and to see some of your insight. So ask questions and put some of your insights and some of your thoughts and some of the things that you actually learned as well as you read First Nephi chapter 1 through chapter 7. There is a great story how they went over into the wilderness and they have to come back. So we can learn so many different things. So just choose something that you want to share with us, and please do that. And then please let me know again if you want me a deeper study together with each chapter. And thanks again. I'm so excited. I just love to share my testimony and the gospel. I know that those things, those stories that are here in the Book of Mormon, there is for benefit, and they're for us today. And thank you very much, and see you soon. And so probably I'm going to see where you guys respond, but I'm thinking maybe tomorrow I'll come and share some more things that I learned. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. See you later.